What if I told you, the human face was never meant to be drawn, it was meant to be built? Welcome to Craft and Decor channel. In this video we will explore abstract geometric portrait art collections. Abstract geometric portrait art represents one of the most daring reinventions of the human likeness in modern visual culture. Rather than describing a face through soft modeling and continuous tone, this tradition dismantles the head into geometric components and reassembles the resulting fragments into a coherent, often unexpected, image. The viewer encounters not the photographically faithful surface of a person, but a constructed arrangement of angled planes, repeated arcs, vivid wedges, and calculated voids. From this deliberate rearrangement emerges a new kind of truth, a psychological, structural, or rhythm-based truth that traditional replication could never quite reach. The earliest currents that shaped this approach arose in the early 20th century, when painters in Paris began questioning inherited conventions. Cubism, pioneered by Picasso and Braque, broke the figure into facets that could be viewed from multiple perspectives at once. A nose, a jawline, an eye socket were no longer fixed in one orientation but instead rotated, intersected, and overlapped. The portrait ceased to be a window onto a single moment and became a composite diagram of perception itself. Shortly after, in Russia, constructivism pushed this logic further by stripping the figure down to industrial vocabulary. Rodchenko's portraits and the work of his circle reduced faces to stark circles, triangles, and rectangles, treating the human head as raw material for a new language of form. De Stijl, the Dutch movement around Mondrian and van Doesburg, contributed the discipline of pure horizontal and vertical elements, while the Bauhaus merged these impulses into design pedagogy, teaching that geometric clarity could carry profound emotional weight. It absorbed lessons from African sculptural traditions that prized frontal severity and angular simplification, and it conversed with the parallel experiments of Italian futurism, which fragmented figures into vectors of motion rather than facets of perception. At the heart of any geometric portrait lies the tension between recognizable likeness and radical abstraction. The artist must decide how much of the subject's features to preserve and how much to translate into pure shape. A triangle might stand in for a nose or a chin. A circle might rotate where the eye once sat. A jagged polygonal mass could describe hair, hat, or shadow. The compositional logic mirrors analytical drawing. The picture plane is divided, weighted, and balanced like an architectural elevation. Symmetry may be present, but it is rarely perfect. Asymmetric tension typically gives the work its energy. A diagonal slice might cut the canvas into two counterweight halves, while a single saturated wedge performs the work that 10 naturalistic strokes could not accomplish. The geometry of the picture plane is rarely neutral. A tilted rectangle sets the head in motion. A series of nested arcs suggests a turning neck. A vertical strip of color can carry the entire weight of a shoulder and become, through sheer juxtaposition, the emotive core of the work. Color plays a decisive role and operates differently here than in traditional figuration. Where classical portraiture depends on subtle shifts of flesh tone to suggest volume, geometric portraits often use chromatic fields as expressive instruments of their own. Cool blues paired with hot oranges can encode mood without any reference to skin or hair. The Bauhaus painters and the later hard edge movement used flat, unmodulated regions of pigment, sometimes bordering one another with razor-sharp edges. Other practitioners allowed adjacent shapes to vibrate optically, producing afterimages and shimmering intervals where the eye is forced to recreate the figure on its own. Black lines function like scaffolding, anchoring the composition and animating it simultaneously. A single bold contour can transform a passive arrangement of shapes into a charged emblem of personality. Many contemporary practitioners, working with digital palettes, exploit gradients and tonal interference to suggest volume without abandoning the flatness of the picture plane. Others restrict themselves to a handful of hues, treating each color as an architectural block whose position relative to its neighbors carries as much meaning as its hue itself. technique varies widely across this tradition, but a few methods recur. Many artists begin with analytical preparation, photographs, observational sketches, or measurements taken from the sitter. These references are then abstracted, translated into grids, polygons, and modular units. Others work intuitively, allowing the geometry to emerge through accumulated rectangular strokes or curved segments. Mixed media has expanded the field enormously. Collage introduces torn paper, printed textures, or foil. Digital tools permit precise proportional control and rapid iteration, and three-dimensional sculpture translates the same principles into plaster, wood, metal, or assembled found objects. The emotional and perceptual effects of these works are profound and distinctive. A geometric portrait typically resists instant consumption. The eye must work, searching the surface for clues to rebuild the face the painting has refused to give. This active viewing produces a sense of discovery that naturalistic portraiture rarely achieves. The image often seems to oscillate. A triangle may read as a shoulder one moment and an abstract shape the next. A contour may suddenly resolve into a brow or fade back into pattern. This perceptual instability becomes the portrait's content, suggesting that identity itself is fluid, layered, and constructed. Over time, this multi-perspective approach has proven remarkably durable. It has been adopted by photographers who fragment faces in the darkroom, by textile designers weaving facial motifs into tapestries, and by muralists covering entire building facades with colossal geometric heads. Each new generation reinvents the grammar while honoring its core principle, that the human face, when broken into shape, can be reawakened into a form more honest than any mirror. Across its many schools and decades, the genre has consistently proposed a new model of human representation. Where traditional portraiture aimed to preserve likeness and memory, geometric abstraction reveals internal structure, rhythm, and symbolic essence. It accepts that no flat surface can hold the full complexity of a person, and responds by offering something different, a shifting, multi-perspective, color-charged diagram of presence. Whether rendered in muted primary fields or in riotous tropical hues, whether tightly gridded or freely improvised, the geometric portrait remains one of the most inventive encounters between human identity and abstract design the visual arts has produced. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate you joining me today in our decor adventures. I hope you found inspiration and ideas to bring to your own projects. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more delightful content. I'd love to hear your thoughts and see what you create, so don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Stay safe.